Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the show. Let's talk about this situation in Lithuania. About a week ago, 4 U.S. soldiers turned up missing in Lithuania during a training exercise. They were in an M88 A2 recovery vehicle. Apparently, this vehicle rolled off into a swampy area where the vehicle was submerged 15 feet below the water when trying to recover another mechanized vehicle during a recovery operation at night. Now, it's just been released that 3 of the 4 U.S. soldiers have been recovered, unfortunately deceased. Our hearts and prayers go out to the family members of those victims.
I want to share some file video with you as we are now learning that 3 U.S. soldiers have been found dead after disappearing during a training mission in Lithuania. 3 of 4 U.S. Army soldiers who disappeared during a training mission in Lithuania last week have been found dead, but the search is ongoing for the 4th soldier. That is according to the Army. Their identities not released at this hour. Now, we did want to share the very latest as the U.S. Army is continuing to investigate. This happened last week when 4 U.S. soldiers disappeared while training in Lithuania. They now say that 3 of the 4 confirmed dead, but the search is ongoing for the 4th U.S. soldier.
When this was initially reported, I was pretty optimistic about the rescue operation because I've heard about these type of vehicles rolling over into water before. In Afghanistan, I talked to a Special Forces guy from 7th Special Forces Group that was in a vehicle that flipped over in a ditch, submerging it in water, and they couldn't get out because of the weight of the door. The vehicle eventually filled with water, and unfortunately, this gentleman that I interviewed was the sole survivor. In fact, he was a senior member, and his junior member was inside the vehicle in an air pocket and winded up saying to him, "I'll go find another one. You could take this one," and he never came back. He unfortunately perished and drowned inside of that vehicle.
And then I started trying to fight for my seatbelt. But then all the ammo cans that we had in cargo straps sitting across from me started hitting me in the face.
Oh, man.
So all those ammo cans are hitting me. Right. So I'm underwater. So now the water starts rising.
Oh, the truck's going in the water?
Yeah. Yeah. It's going in the water. It's sliding down. It's sliding down. And
how deep is this aqueduct water? And like how big is it?
You'll soon find out. So I was going down there. I was underwater. I started grabbing my gun. I was like this, man. I started grabbing my seatbelt, and my partner was like, the water was over my face, and I took my face out of the water. The truck is sliding down. My gun is on my chest. The seatbelt is on my chest. My equipment is on my chest. And I'm underwater, like I can't breathe anymore. I'm gurgling water. I'm like, I can't get it up. And I'm upside down. You gotta remember, this is like 2 a.m. Okay. Yeah. And then I went like this. I had enough strength to lift my neck out of the water. I said, "Help me." The team sergeant, he was going down sideways. You know, he was going down. He said, "Hey, jump back there and help Joe." And so my partner, Matthew James, who was sitting about 3 feet away from me, he jumps back. He pops my seatbelt. Boom.
And you jump out? Like,
yeah.
You get your air.
Yeah, I jump out and I stand up.
Oh shit.
When that happens, the whole truck rolls over. Now the whole truck's in the river. Now the truck is wheels up. Not only that, everything on that, the doors are so heavy, the hydraulic system opens the doors. if we don't have hydraulics, we do it manually. Right?
Yeah.
The water kills the power.
You know, a lot of these vehicles, especially mechanized vehicles that have hydraulic door systems, meaning the door creates a seal that can only be opened with the electrical system, they have what's called HEEDS bottles. When I was deploying to Iraq, we actually got HEEDS bottle training by task force on how to use this oxygen bottle just in case of being submerged in the vehicle. This would provide a little bit of oxygen, enough to get you out of the vehicle and swim to the surface. Unfortunately, this vehicle weighs a whopping 140,000 pounds. It actually has the ability to recover up to 160,000 pounds. Let's take a little look at the vehicle itself.
What is the M88? The M88 Heavy Equipment Recovery Combat Utility Lifting Extraction System, or Hercules, was introduced by the U.S. Army in 1961. It is aimed to provide aid to tanks in various ways, such as extracting tanks from muddy terrain and other natural obstacles, flipping over the overturned tanks, and most importantly, removing damaged tanks from the battlefront and transporting them to the rear for repair. The M88A2 is a crucial asset for any mechanized military, as a stationary tank can be a hindrance during warfare. The Hercules can assist in maintaining the mobility of a combined arms force, such as the U.S. Army, as it moves quickly to achieve its goals. The M88 vehicle is equipped with an A-frame winch and a dozer blade that the Army calls a spade. This blade enables the vehicle to anchor itself and pull out distressed tanks.
If you don't recognize this vehicle, it is used mostly for recovery operations to recover tanks and Bradleys, or heavy up-armored mechanized vehicles. And it was also used to pull down the statue of Saddam Hussein in the invasion of Iraq in 2003. Now, I've personally never been in one of these vehicles, but I've seen this vehicle. And one of the things that I think about in the after-action review of what went right and what mostly went wrong in this situation, where you have 4 U.S. soldiers traveling at night in areas where there's swampy grounds, why was the risk assessment not done to look at this potential threat? Now, you can't mitigate every risk. When I was a team sergeant in Special Forces, my team did a lot of high-risk training, and I would weigh that. I would do it on a risk assessment sheet and weigh the risks to the force versus what we were trying to accomplish. And most of the time, we were able to mitigate the risk and conduct the training, but it didn't mean it was foolproof, meaning we weren't able to always mitigate all the risk, and there was always a risk to force. Meaning if you're doing free fall operations, live fire training, helicopter training, the list goes on, there is always going to be the chance. Now, the U.S. military is not immune to training accidents. It happens all the time. In fact, the average is about 300 fatalities every single year on average. That's across all the services. But for the amount of training that the military does, that's relatively low. Now, I think there was likely lots of mistakes that were made. And the unfortunate situation here is once this vehicle rolled off into the water, into the swamp, it's actually just mud. There was likely no chance these guys were going to get out. I'm not sure of the circumstance of the 3 U.S. service members that have been recovered, whether they were in the vehicle or out of the vehicle, but it's being reported now that the vehicle has been recovered. Unfortunately, for guys who roll in mechanized vehicles, this is one of the worst case scenarios you could be in, where you roll off into a body of water and there was no chance for these guys to get out. Likely, all of these guys were wearing body armor, by the way, and not only did they not have the ability to get out, but if that vehicle was upside down as the vehicle was filling up, even if they got an air pocket, it'd likely be too late. Again, our heart goes out to the victims of this training accident, but it's something that happens when you're doing high-risk training anywhere in the world. Thanks for these men's service to their country. And I hope you guys pray for the victims of this unfortunate circumstance as well as the family. Guys, I'm doing an underground version of this that's uncensored, talking about all things in current events. You could follow me down below. It's patreon.com/Mike Glover. I appreciate you guys. Till next time.